Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Most likely you know that my work focuses on street photography, and probably you have seen my videos. If not, go check them out, they're all great. But today I want to do something different. Today I want to focus on architecture photography, and I want to show you how you can get more creative while shooting interesting buildings and structures in an urban environment like this. For this reason, I came to a very unique place on the east of Amsterdam, and right now actually I'm on top of an artificial island, and here is the best place for the type of photography I want to show you today. Everything around this area has been constructed within the last 10 or 20 years, so most of the buildings here follow a modern architectural style, and that makes it one of my most favorite spots for architecture photography. For this photography session I will be using the Sony a7C II together with two special lenses. For the first part of the video I will be shooting everything with a 20 to 70mm lens, and I will be focusing mostly on wide shots. While for the second part I will be using this big boy, the Tamron 50 to 400mm, and I will be experimenting with longer focal lengths. It will be interesting to see what kind of reach we can get with this lens. Stick around for the results. Alright, let's go! Today I will be shooting in black and white, and most of the photos I will show you are straight out of camera. I'm doing this in order to remove the distractions of color and emphasize the textures, patterns and shapes of all the buildings and structures I will be photographing. The building in front of us is the famous Jakarta Hotel, and it is a great subject for our first photo. One of the most important tips I have to give you when shooting architecture photography is to make sure you leave room in your frame and use the negative space to your advantage. If you want to elevate your architecture photography, try to incorporate your environment in your frame. For example, let's see if we can capture this bird in our photo. I choose to shoot today because there is not a single cloud on the sky, which makes it more convenient for creating minimal photos. Weather conditions are always important when it comes to any type of photography, so make sure you pick the right day. Alright, let me show you how to create a great architecture photo from a simple spot like this one here. Most of the people will try to capture the entire frame with the bikes, the street and the building, which is not so bad. But if you instead capture only the building against the empty sky, you certainly get a much more impressive photo. Architecture photography is not only about capturing buildings. You can look everywhere for interesting patterns, like for example this bridge over here. And if you want to add an element of street photography, you can always wait until someone passes by. One of the reasons I love this area for architecture photography is because it is full of patterns and symmetry, everywhere you look. No matter where I go, I simply can't resist having a quick moment of street photography. I love how well street and architecture photography can blend together. I want to use this building over there to talk about an important aspect of architecture photography. In order for your photos to stand out, it is important to avoid distorted lines and make the buildings look like they are perpendicular to the floor. For this reason, you have to adjust the perspective in post, and your goal will be to make your subject appear like it's vertical to the ground. If photographing buildings gets boring, you can get more creative by including an interesting foreground. For example, I will try to capture those people that are walking on the other side of the bridge, and I will use the full focal length of my lens to create a more dramatic result. Alright, let's see what else there is around here. Another way to get creative with architecture photography is to shoot upwards. Shooting upwards may sound simple, but it comes with its challenges because it distorts the way the buildings look like and creates what we call keystoning or perspective distortion. For this reason, you may need to fix this in post, like I did for my photo here. And don't forget about the leading lines. Look how the lines from the building on the right draw attention to the center of the frame and our main subject. Architecture photography is not only about shooting buildings from far away. You can also look for interesting patterns and get close for equally unique shots. For example, let's try to capture this brick wall. And remember, always look upwards. Here is the best place to show you why I prefer using a 20 to 70mm lens instead of the traditional 24 to 70. The extra 4mm can give you a very impressive result when shooting on tight areas. If you are shooting architecture, shooting at 20mm or even wider is a must. Alright, the first part of my video is almost over, but before we move on, I want to show you something really cool. Doors are also part of architecture, aren't they? The moment we all have been waiting for is finally here. I have switched to the Tamron 50 to 400mm, and for this part of the video I will be using longer focal lengths. I'm back on the bridge and I want to show you how you can get impressive architecture photos with a telephoto lens as well. Let's make an experiment first and see the impact a longer focal length can have on your photos. I'm currently shooting at 140mm, but I took exactly the same photo at 70mm. Here is how 140mm look like, and here is how 70 versus 140mm look like when compared to each other. Testing one more time, this time in landscape format. As you will see in a moment, by using a longer focal length you can get a more compressed and therefore a more dramatic result. Now let's try longer focal lengths and see how far we can reach with this lens. Let's try these buildings over there, for example. They're about 100 to 200 meters away. As you can see, the results can be very impressive. When you're in an open space like this, a telephoto lens helps to bring the subject closer and create some more unique shots that cannot be achieved with a wider lens. Quick reminder, architecture photography is not only about capturing buildings. Any interesting structure can create impressive results. As I mentioned in the first part of the video, in order for your photos to stand out, it is important to avoid any distorted lines and make your buildings appear as vertical as possible. If this cannot be achieved from the angle you're shooting, you can always fix it in post. Now let's try capture this unique building over there. For some reason it reminds me of a butterfly, don't you think? The bridge over here looks like it would offer some unique opportunities for creative captures. I will try to use its leading lines to bring focus to our subject. Telephoto lenses are great for isolating architectural details, and they allow you to capture unique textures and patterns, something that is impossible to do with a wide-angle lens. Between these two tall buildings over there, you can see the place where all the big cruise ships dock when they arrive in Amsterdam. This place is very busy during the summer. I'm so happy there are no ships blocking my view today. And our session today wouldn't be complete if we didn't capture the Edem Tower, one of the most famous buildings in Amsterdam. We are pretty far away, so I'm going to use the full focal length of my lens. Look how far you can reach with 400mm. It's really impressive. Alright, I'm done. It is pretty tiring carrying this lens. You can do some serious workout with this thing. I hope you enjoyed watching my video, and I hope you are now more inspired to go out and shoot architecture photography. If you like what you saw today, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It would help me big time. And that's all for today, folks. I will see you in the next one.